Bonsoir, Nadine Yambo. Good evening to you as well, viewers. Thanks for joining us in this 8 p.m. bilingual newscast on Equinox Television. Another shocking incident grieves the town of Douala. This time around, it is the death of 4 kids. They died in a station car in the New Bell neighborhood in the Douala 2 municipality. They suffocated in the car in which they were playing in this afternoon. Plus, a crisis meeting is ongoing at the Daido District Hospital following the incident which took place at Government's Balingua High School, Daido. The crisis meeting is being presided over by the Littoral Regional Delegate of Public Health. More in this newscast. Exactly, Nadine Yambo. Good evening to you once more, viewers. Thanks for staying with us for the second segment of the newscast. We begin with this sad incident. It is 4 children who have perished today in the New Bell neighborhood in the Douala 2 municipality. They were trapped in an abandoned vehicle. It was later discovered by the population. Details with Manju Kangebro.
It was a curious crowd that gathered around the College Evangelique campus in New Bell, all surprised about the macabre discovery made in a vehicle. 4 kids whose ages ranged from 2 to 5 years respectively. According to this commercial bike rider, some kids were about crossing the road around the area where the parked car was. One of them stood in front of the car and told his brother that there were children in the vehicle. The kids, reports say, were playing in the vehicle when the door blocked and the children were trapped inside. The scorching sun, reports say, must have suffocated the children. After a thorough search during the day, it was in the late hours of Friday evening that they were discovered. 2 out of the 4 children who died belonged to the same mother. For now, the cause of the demise of these 4 kids is not yet known, as investigations are ongoing.
Relatives still mourn the death of their loved one, and equally son stabbed to death at the Government Balingua High School Daido yesterday by 3 of his schoolmates, 2 of them expelled during the first term and 1 still a student of the institution. The crisis meeting held is ongoing at the Daido District Hospital where the victim died. It is being presided over by the Littoral Regional Delegate of Public Health. It is attended by the hospital officials and authorities of Government's Balingua High School Daido. Resolutions are still highly awaited. Cabral Libi, candidate of the last presidential election for the Universe Party, was on the school campus earlier today where he met with the school personnel. The murderers are under detention, and mother of one of the culprits who learned of her child's arrest developed trauma and was conveyed to the hospital. Meantime, the parents of the victim, the son who was stabbed to death, are still in grief. Still talking about the certain note, the Social Democratic Front is mourning the death of one of its members, the Honorable Joseph Banazem Lukong of the Bui Division Northwest Region. Died early today at the Yaoundé General Hospital after a long illness. And Honorable Joseph Banazem was SDF's parliamentary leader and communication officer of the National Assembly. His death comes days after another SDF staunch member, Lawton Same, deputy mayor of the Douala 1 subdivision, died, and also the senior divisional officer of Fako division, Zhang Tua, is no more. Zhang Tua died in Yaoundé after a protracted illness. Before he died, he was serving as an advisor to Elections Cameroon, Elekam. And now we talk about the CURM, that's the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Opposition Political Party. To tell you how the party, being led by Professor Maurice Kamto, says it will not be participating in the upcoming regional elections if they are organized before municipal and legislative elections. They took the decision in a strategic meeting in Yaoundé recently. For me, I'm Johnson Hasmo.
The bills for the putting in place of regional councils and another for the allocation of resources to run these councils, which are currently being discussed at the National Assembly, implies that regional elections will soon be organized in Cameroon. But at the level of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, party officials say they are against the organization of regional elections before the renewal of the mandates of municipal councillors that got expired since 2018. The party promised to oppose such plans through every constituted means and condemns the fact that illegitimate municipal councillors or the Electoral College should decide regional councillors for a period of 5 years in Cameroon. Following the saturated electoral calendar of 2018, President Paul Biya extended the mandate of municipal councillors for a period of 12 months. Apart from the circumstances surrounding the contested possible regional elections in the country, the party is also worried about the disturbing socio-political situation of Cameroon, especially the Anglophone crisis. The CRM party denounced what they qualify as repeated attacks on its supporters and sympathizers. They say several militants and sympathizers have been banned from traveling out of Cameroon, and it is possible that the list could be longer since they have not always been notified. Despite the challenges, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement's political party say it will not give up. The party has announced plans to reactivate their nationwide peaceful protest demonstration beginning April 6th. The national executive of the CRM political party has given orders to its grassroots militants to begin applying for authorization at various levels for the peaceful protest demonstration.
And now the Human Rights Watch in its latest report has accused the Cameroon's security and defense forces as well as separatist fighters for the gross human rights violations in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. In the report, it states that hundreds of civilians have perished in the crossfire between separatist fighters and the military. More in this report. According to the Human Rights Watch in its recent report published March 28, 2019 on the Anglophone crisis, at least 170 civilians have been killed in over 220 incidents of the armed conflicts since October last year. The Human Rights Watch accuses government forces in Anglophone Cameroon for the killings, use of indiscriminate force, and burning of hundreds of homes over the past 6 months. The group says it based its findings on interviews with 140 victims, family members, and witnesses between December and March. According to the Human Rights Watch report, still, another 31 members of the security forces were killed in operations between October and February. It indicates that the death toll is most likely to go higher as the armed conflict continues. The HRW also blamed separatists for assaulting, kidnapping dozens of people during the same period, executing at least 2 men. According to the group, the government defending itself sent a letter denying exactions by the army described in the Human Rights Watch report. The conflict broke out in October 2017 when the Anglophone separatists launched an armed campaign when military bullets began raining in the northwest and southwest regions. The International Crisis Group noted that the death toll since the start of the fighting has topped 500 for civilians and more than 200 for members of the security forces. Meantime, Lewis Mudge, Human Rights Watch Central African Director, stressed on the fact that Cameroon's authorities have an obligation to respond lawfully and to protect people's rights during periods of violence. It adds, the government's heavy-handed response targeting civilians is counterproductive and risks igniting more violence. The implementation of reforms remained a major problem to the growth of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community (CEMAC) several years after adoption. Most reforms like that of free circulation are yet to be fully implemented, and pre-CEMAC is worried about it, or Pref-CEMAC is worried about it. For me, Armstrong Sanders reports once more.
The pace of progress made at the level of the promotion of structural reforms, physical and commercial integration remains low within the Central Africa Economic and Monetary Community (CEMAC), despite commendable effort made at the level of economic growth.
If you see all the reports of the international financial community, you will see that we are no longer in a recession. We have been making some progress, but the movement is slow, and the consequences cannot be those expected.
These, among other problems, are preoccupying to members of the body in charge of the implementation of reforms of the sub-region, Pref-CEMAC.
We have, during this meeting, to think seriously of what we are going to propose to our head of states, because they are waiting for us. You see that the meeting in N'Djamena was last Sunday, and already today we are here, and the meeting of the minister will be Sunday. So they are working seriously on the question.
The N'Djamena meeting of heads of state encouraged all states and all CEMAC economic, monetary and financial institutions involved in the implementation of CEMAC programs to continue their efforts to strengthen the sustainability of public finances and the coverage of currency. They discussed the repatriation of export earnings, especially from large companies, and also had a lot to say on free circulation, which is still a problem within the sub-region. Experts from Pref-CEMAC, who are currently meeting in Douala, wants to find a winning formula for the sub-region, especially within the context of these goals set for 2019.
We are going to concentrate, all the regional institutions will be concentrated mainly on the promotion of structural reforms. Secondly, promotion of integration. What are the measures that should be taken today in order to promote, to accelerate the implementation of structural reforms and integration, physical integration, commercial integration in our region, so that our population can benefit from this progress made.
Pref-CEMAC, which was highly applauded by heads of state in N'Djamena recently for their achievement, is in Douala to study the annual report, analyze progress made, identified problems encountered, and chart a way forward on the implementation of new regulations made during the 14th Summit of Heads of State in N'Djamena, Chad.
And that's it for this 8 p.m. bilingual newscast. Thanks so much for watching. Do have a splendid evening and a happy Sunday in advance. Nadine Yambou, happy Sunday in advance.
Merci EQUINOXE Nazé, meilleur à vous. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est la fin de ce journal. Merci pour votre aimable attention et nous vous souhaitons de passer d'agréables moments en compagnie de nos programmes.